Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Patch Like a Champion. My name is Joe Fazio, and I am honored and privileged to be able to come to you on this Monday evening and talk to you about a very, very important and unique medical technology called X39. I wanted to introduce my dear friend, Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Tiffany Flock. Welcome to the program. Thank you for being on. Again, we do this monthly. And Dr. Tiffany, introduce yourself. Tell the folks what you do, why it's different from Western medicine, and what did you see uniquely about this little stem cell reactivation technology that caused you to say yes and incorporate it into your practice. Dr. Tiffany, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me back on, Joe. It's just an honor to be with you once a month. Man, this technology, I got so excited I was going to jump into the technology first. So I am a doctor of naturopathy, which is a traditional naturopath. And what we do is we get to the root cause of why people feel horrible. You're not deficient in pharmaceuticals. And so we look for what the root cause is. And let me explain, this technology just really blew me away. And there were three things that really intrigued me. Well, there were a lot that intrigued me about this technology, but there were three, and we're going to talk about some of that tonight. One of them is our studies showing that it reduces inflammation, because we know that inflammation is the root cause of almost every chronic disease. The other is the stem cell reactivation, your body's own stem cells reactivating, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. God created our bodies with an innate ability to repair themselves, and stem cells are that repair system. And then the third thing was glutathione. This amazing technology increases your own glutathione by 30%. And research shows that many people who struggle with common chronic illnesses, such as chronic infections, autoimmune disease, kidney problems, and liver disease, have depleted glutathione levels. So as a naturopath and as someone who likes to get to the root cause, three of those things really triggered me, Joe, and I am just so excited to be here and talk about it tonight.
Fantastic. Thank you for that introduction. You know, ladies and gentlemen, stem cells is a hot topic in our culture right now. People are talking about elevating copper peptides and regenerating stem cells. And, you know, admittedly, I think we've lost confidence in big pharma and Western medicine. What I'm going to do now is share my screen, and we're going to get into some slides. And I want to talk a little bit about this amazing technology that has absolutely changed my life and that of my family. For the last 2 years, we've been wearing this technology. So again, you are on Patch Like a Champion Monday. We do this every Monday night. And we've got a fantastic special guest, Holly and Ralph Cosentino from the greater Atlanta area. Wait till you hear what's going on with them related to how this patch has changed their life. So again, thank you, Dr. Tiffany, for joining me. I want to take a minute just to pause. Last week was a very trying week. It was a very chaotic week. It was a very emotional week. And I just want to recenter us because, you know, I had some quiet time, and the good Lord reminded me of Ephesians 6:12, which says, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities of powers, against rulers of the darkness, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So I just wanted to take a minute and remind you that God is a God of peace. He's not a God of chaos. And there was two verses that really stuck out to me. And I would encourage you to focus on these two. When you feel that the world is kind of spiraling out of control, Isaiah 26:3 says, you will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. And then the other one, you know, Jesus promised we're going to have tribulation in this world, but the good news is he says, take courage, for I have overcome the world. So, guys, let that calm your spirit. I know things seem a little bit chaotic and crazy in the world, but we have a God of peace, a God of comfort, and a God of calmness, and we don't have to get all worked up amidst that chaos. So, I'm an executive director with Lifewave. I do have to give you this disclaimer. We make no promises that X39 is going to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any medical disease or condition. Always consult your physician before you start a new regimen. In addition, we're going to be talking about a very unique financial opportunity that is Lifewave. This has blown me away financially. The commissions that you could potentially earn from sharing this technology are off the charts good, but we cannot make an income claim because we do not know how much you'll share it, nor do we know your work ethic. Guys, I am so proud of the fact that there are 68 former Notre Dame athletes and personnel wearing the Lifewave patches. Notre Dame does not endorse this program, but there's a lot of former athletes that were struggling, and now they're not because of X39. We just enrolled another linebacker from my generation in the early 80s last week. And I do want to give a shout out to my bride, my better half, my support. She's my biggest cheerleader, Pamela Fazio. This is a picture of us in Notre Dame Stadium last year, and this is where the team runs out onto the field and slaps that sign, "Play like a champion today." And when you put the X39 on your body, you will absolutely play like a champion that day. So, a lot of massive movement of former athletes moving towards Lifewave patches. Why? It's because phototherapy or photobiomodulation is proven to reactivate and repair stem cells that have gone dormant. You may recognize some of these former NFL players, Rocky Blyer, Big Mike McCoy, Joe Theismann, Chris Sorge, and Tim Grunhard. All these guys are wearing the X39 patch. And there's nothing more rewarding when I get a phone call from somebody that says, "Joe, thank you. The inflammation and pain in my body is down by a great, great degree." So, question of the evening, have you been patched? If not, I would encourage you to get with the person who invited you to this Zoom. Get some patches coming to you. Borrow some patches from them. See that patch on this gal's shoulder? Her stem cells are being awakened by this technology. Now, it's non-transdermal, and people are going to be like, "What? There's no way that that can work. It's going to sound like voodoo, hokey, witchcraft." We know all the adjectives. We were skeptical first, but I promise you, this patch absolutely works. So, 2 years ago, I saw this comment by the New England Journal of Medicine. They stated that the number one indicator of wellness is directly correlated with the number of stem cells in your bloodstream. And I thought to myself, okay, how do you get more stem cells in your bloodstream? Well, you can travel out of the country and go get an injection. It's super expensive, anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000. It's limited to that area of the body. It's not guaranteed. You may have to go back and get it done again. It's potentially dangerous. My cousin is a medical doctor. She is an eye surgeon, and she said, it's very, very dangerous. You don't know the source of where those external stem cells are coming from. So why not elevate your own stem cells? And boy, do we have a solution for you. Dr. Tiffany, let's talk a little bit about the pharmaceutical industry and also the strange ingredients that we're seeing in vaccines. Why don't you take this slide?
Yeah, so the pharmaceutical industry does not create cures, it creates customers. No pharmaceutical drug is going to solve the chronic disease epidemic that we have going on in America and throughout the world. We just keep adding pills, but we're not getting to the core of what's causing the disease. And so Joe says this often, and I completely agree with him. The biggest obstacle keeping Americans from living healthier lives is the lack of motivation to make the changes to do so. And so Joe, you crack me up. With this slide, when the pharmaceutical commercial is done listing all the possible side effects of their new drug, this is what could possibly be the outcome. It's
Dr. Tiffany,
very sad though.
You know what irritates me the most is when someone goes in for a checkup, they get a prescription, it causes a side effect, and the health practitioner writes yet another prescription just for the side effect, and maybe 3, 4, 5 more. That absolutely is a vicious cycle, and it needs to stop. So, it's not that the vaccines, people have an issue with, it's what they are using as stabilizing agents to increase shelf life. Talk about what's going on in our world right now.
Yeah, so I think this is really important. If we can just take a minute, because I could get in the weeds. I've written my dissertation on this, 30 pages on vaccinations. So I could get, and I could literally teach you for 3 hours or more on the topic of vaccinations. But the point of this particular slide, I just want us to think about this. Look at the yellow, like look at all of the yellow that you see on this one page, and there's 3 pages of vaccinations and their ingredients and all this stuff. This is just one. Look at the yellow. And if you look over to the left there, the yellow means that it's toxic to humans. And so that's a lot of yellow that's toxic to humans. So we need to really be thinking about what are we allowing. We are allowing people, medical doctors, your CVS, those places like that to inject into us without looking at what could be the cause of those. It's just like what we were talking about with the pharmaceuticals. Like there are side effects, and majority of those pharmaceuticals have ingredients that are toxic to humans. So, and my husband, when I told him I was going to talk about this slide earlier, he said, well, just make sure, because we have a friend that's colorblind, that you include those that are colorblind. If you are colorblind and you cannot see the yellow, that's pretty much the entire page of ingredients, Joe. And so I just think people need to really take a look at what they're allowing to be put into their body.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Dr. Tiffany. This is David Schmidt. He is our CEO. He's also a brilliant scientist. He is the inventor of X39. Ladies and gentlemen, this man has 200 patents. I don't know anybody that even has one patent, let alone 200. He specializes in age reversing. In 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research. It took him about 10 years and $4.5 million to bring X39 to the market, and boy, oh boy, are we glad he did. What gave me the confidence to say yes to this medical device is that it carries a U.S. patent. You can look this up. You can Google X39 U.S. patent. This page will come up. I draw your attention to the abstract in the lower right. I am going to make that larger for you. And here is the abstract, which talks about wearable phototherapy produces beneficial effects to the human body, such as activation of stem cells. There it is in a government document. It improves your strength, stamina. It also allows for pain relief via a non-transdermal container. Imagine that. No chemical stimulants, drugs are going into your body, and yet he's discovered a way to give you pain relief by increasing the copper peptide GHK-Cu in the subject's body. This non-transdermal patch reflects or emits a specific wavelength of light to elevate levels of copper peptide GHK-Cu in the body. We're going to be talking about that here more in just a moment. So the other thing that's very, very impressive is that all of the Lifewave patches are manufactured at facilities registered with the FDA. They are FDA compliant. They meet good manufacturing practice and quality system regulations, certified under ISO 13485 requirement. That may not mean a whole lot to you, but it is a big deal in the medical device industry for manufacturing. ISO 13485 is a significant designation for this medical device. In addition, X39 is approved in the European Union, which, by the way, has stricter requirements for medical devices than the United States. So, X39 activation patch, realize that the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you're going to age and the slower you're going to heal. I didn't realize this. You get to age 30 rather quickly. Half your stem cells go dormant. And then at the age of 60, interestingly, you lose almost all of your stem cell activity. But think about it. It makes sense. We don't heal as quickly. Wounds do not heal. Broken bones do not heal very rapidly. And even, back to that one point about the age of 30, you don't see a lot of professional athletes over the age of 30 still playing their craft. And it really makes sense because their stem cells are starting to go dormant. So This is Dr. Lauren Picard. I wanted to introduce you to him. He is the father of research for this copper peptide called GHK. You are welcome to research it. Dr. Tiffany, take this slide. Tell us a little bit about what this GHK-Cu copper peptide does to the human body when elevated.
Yeah, so fascinating. So the GHK is glycine, histidine, and lysine. And so when those are activated in the body, you can reduce inflammation. That was super important to me as a naturopath, because remember what I said, inflammation can be the root cause of almost all chronic disease. So we bringing that inflammation down, which is amazing. And then it can protect against breathing issues, poor memory, bone loss, saggy skin. So I love it. You can see over here under lysine, it produces collagen and supports your hormones. Like we all know someone that whether it's ourselves or someone that falls into any of these categories where they need support. And that's what I love about the GHK peptide being activated in your body.
So how does this work? Well, it's light technology, and the patch is made up of organic crystals, amino acids, salt, water, oxygen, all natural ingredients, and it forms a perfect lattice structure in the center of the patch. Now, this lattice structure is a reflector of light. Whose light, you may ask? Not the sunlight, not the external ambient light, but your own light inside your body. You see, God designed our bodies with a low-grade infrared light on the inside. We know this to be true because when you use night vision goggles in the pitch black of night, I know we've got some former military on this call, they've used night vision goggles, and you can see a human body because we all have that low-grade infrared light. And when you place this patch on your body, it reflects back your own light to make a change in the body. And we call that process photobiomodulation, light-making change in your body. And this light works fast to turn old cells young again. Again, God designed our bodies with low-level infrared light and heat. I like to make this illustration so that you remember this slide when you're telling someone about how X39 works. God said, let there be light, and there was light not only in the atmosphere, but also on the inside of your body. So how does it work, Dr. Tiffany?
So it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. It's a patented nanocrystal technology, just meaning very, very, very small. It's non-transdermal, so that doesn't mean anything is going in through your skin. Like if you think about maybe a nicotine patch or even like a vitamin, now they're having like vitamin patches and stuff that you can put on. That means that something's going in through the skin. This is not going in, nothing going in through the skin. No drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants, and it's a completely non-invasive. So I love this topography map. This is just fascinating. So there was a participant that was 77 years old. We were told that she was probably a Pilates instructor. So, when I think of Pilates instructor, I think of fit and healthy, probably not very much inflammation, right? Well, if you look at session 1, she was not wearing the X39 at the time. That all of that red is the inflammation that was happening in her brain. And there was a lack of coherence that was happening in the brain. So what happens? She puts the X39 on. In session 2, she comes back 3 weeks later, and there's no more inflammation. It was improved brain coherence. And let me tell you, I've experienced this, and so have my clients. Hallelujah. Session 3, 6 weeks later, it just got even better. It's so awesome. She had a complete turnaround, and her brain coherence was even better than 3 weeks after that. Now, I would love to see, where's she at now? How could you get any better from where she was at? But I'd love to see that now, Joe.
Absolutely. I've got a lot of former teammates that have been in a lot of collisions and have sustained a lot of concussions. I've got 2 former teammates that were showing signs of head trauma, brain injury, CTE is what it's called. We've had 4 meetings with the NFL Alumni Association, and they are very, very interested in this product. If you saw the movie Concussion about 15 years ago with Will Smith, that was actually about the life of one of my friends and former teammates, Dave Dewerson, Super Bowl Chicago Bears 1985, and I truly believe if X39 were around back then, perhaps Dave would still be on this planet. So it is making a big difference in people with brain trauma. Also, the younger generation, maybe with PTSD or depression or anxiety. Our son is wearing the patch, and it's like night and day. His change in his attitude, his demeanor, the way he interacts with people. A lot of people are calling it their happy patch. So long-term results, Dr. Tiffany, go ahead.
Yeah, this is so fascinating. You can go to thisisitinfo.com if you want to dive in a little deeper at what each of these studies are. Our studies show, the clinical studies, right, show in the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset themselves. And if you think of like resveratrol or red wine, they will reset 2 genes, right? This is 4,000 genes reset to a younger, healthier state. Amazing. Within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. We saw that in the topography map that we just showed you. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. And within 3 months, I ditched my collagen protein. And so I'm saving a lot of money and actually getting to put that money toward patches and other great things because my own collagen has been activated. And within 6 months, your heart begins to reverse in age, which is absolutely amazing. And I love what David Schmidt had to say. It's not anti-aging, it's age reversing, which is what we really want.
Amen. How do you wear the patch, Dr. Tiffany?
All right, so what you're going to do, you can see on the right side, there's 2 points, one on the back, like one of the back of the neck, in between the shoulders, and then one below the belly button. That's just where the clinical studies were done. Really, you can put the X39 on anywhere, and it's going to work. But you wear the patch 12 hours on and 12 hours off. So 12 hours on, it's fully activating, it's increasing your glutathione levels. That's why you want to make sure that you're drinking half your body weight in ounces of water, clean water preferably, so that it can help the body release the toxins that will be coming out, which is a good thing. And then when you go to bed, you take the patch off, and that way you're repairing and rejuvenating, and then you put it back on the next day, and you just keep repeating the same process every day.
We are chronically dehydrated as a society. Would you agree as a doctor of naturopathy?
Absolutely. I mean, that's literally when I meet with someone the first time, my question is, how much water are you getting? Literally, that's one of my first questions.
And ladies and gentlemen, when possible, add a good quality electrolyte to your water. David Schmidt says that actually gives the patches a little bit of boost in what they are designed to do. I've experienced 100% of everything listed on this particular slide. I'm stronger than I've ever been. I lost my belly fat. I'm leaner. I have no more inflammation in my body. Increased stamina, vitality, mental clarity. I do presentations every day. I'm on my A game because this patch has really caused me to focus, restored muscle skeletal conditions. I have wonderful sleep. I'm not. It's not that I'm sleeping longer, but I'm getting a more restful sleep. I'm going into a deep REM sleep. And a lot of folks, myself included, are saying that we're dreaming more vividly. So that's an interesting benefit from X39. Improved skin. My wife's hair stopped falling out. Her lines are smoothing on her face. Her nails are no longer brittle. And the coolest thing is I went to the dentist to get a regular checkup about a year ago. The hygienist said, "Mr. Fazio, what are you doing differently with your oral care?" And I said, "That's interesting that you would ask that. Tell me why you're asking that." She said, "Because your gums have closed up and sealed around your teeth." And that was not the case a couple years ago. She would take that sharp utensil and measure those pockets. That was not an enjoyable experience. So I've been wearing the patch for 26 months, Dr. Tiffany, Pamela, and I, and the benefits just keep coming and coming, and we will not take this patch on until the good Lord calls us home. So this is our friend Dr. Joseph Peck. This always boggles my mind when I read this because this is a medical doctor, 40-year anesthesiologist. He knows a thing or two about putting chemicals in the body. And I heard him say this live and in person at a convention. We were there in person, and he picked up the X39 and he said, "This patch is the most significant medical breakthrough in his lifetime." And that is just very, very interesting statement coming from a doctor, considering all the innovation, technology advancements in medicine. He called the X39 patch the most significant medical breakthrough in his lifetime. He went on to say that it would be criminal to not share it with your loved ones, and he's absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very sophisticated medical device. It's very simple to explain. The testimonials of X39 are often life-changing and extremely emotional. Sometimes there's some tissues needed when people share these testimonials. You're about to hear one from our dear friends Holly and Ralph Cosentino. The best thing about this product is it absolutely works. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Holly and Ralph, if you are on camera, you are there. You've already clicked your microphone. Thank you so much for joining us from the greater Atlanta area. Tell us who introduced you to this technology, what was going on in your bodies, and then how long have you been patching, and just share what this wonderful device has done for you.
We'd love to. Hi, everybody. I first want to say thank you to you, Joe, and to Dr. Tiffany for having us on to share our testimonies. So we are under Tiffany's team, but we were signed on with my friend, Tonya White. She set us up and patched us, and we're 4 months in at the moment. 4.5 maybe, in June. You want to start?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Ralph. I just would like to share a couple of testimonies about the X39 patch, which has helped me considerably over the last 3 to 4 months. I started wearing, like I said, the X39 about 4 months ago, and very early on, I noticed an increase in my energy. I had extra stamina to get through my evening workouts. I have a professional trainer that I work out a couple of nights a week, and before I was taking the patch, I would come home and just feel exhausted and sit on my recliner and sort of take a nap. But after I started wearing the X39 patch, I had a lot of energy and a lot more stamina, and I would be able to come home and enjoy the things for the evening. So also, I had my second testimony has to do with an open wound that I had on my cheek for a better part of a couple of years. It just would not heal no matter what we tried to do for it. And periodically, it would just open up and begin to ooze again. And it was very disruptive, and and I also often wonder if it would ever go away. But once I started wearing the X39 patch, within about 3 to 4 weeks, the wound began to heal, and after 5 weeks, it was completely closed up.
Woo-hoo.
I was so excited about that. And then lastly, I wanted to just talk about, I have been wearing hearing aids for the last 5 to 6 years, and every day I would put them on my charger and get up, and it was so that I could hear better and be able to enjoy the conversations of the day. One morning, I forgot to do that. I forgot to put them on my charger at night, so I left them at home. And this was about 2 weeks after wearing the patch, maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
A few more.
And I noticed that I was able to hear as clear as though I were actually wearing my hearing aids. And so I was so excited, I ran around and began to share the good news with everybody, and I have not had to wear my hearing aids since that time. So thank you for the X39 patch. It's done remarkable.
The hallelujah one right there. Mine, I wasn't anticipating really anything to come about right away, because I was told it would take about 6 or 7 months before seeing any great benefits. But to my surprise, probably about 2 or 3 weeks in, I woke up and I just had so much energy. energy that's kind of clean and makes you just feel good, just all good. And within the same week, probably, I also woke up with my brain fog clearing, and I hadn't had that in a while. It's been a long couple of years, but I felt so good. I was feeling amazing. So I just didn't expect it that soon. So I'm very excited to see what all is going to come down the pipe for the 6 months. But the third thing that happened was, for about 8 years, I've had swelling and inflammation in my right hand. I couldn't really use it more and more towards the end of that time. We garden, we do work in the yard on the weekends, and I want to pick up my grandkids. It was kind of hard not to be able to, hold them the right way. And just a few weeks past the last one, I woke up and there was no more inflammation, really. I tried to even hurt it to see if it was real or if it was going to come back. And it is totally gone, and my swelling's gone, and even that nodule kind of on my hand is gone. So we are very happy for that. It's great to be able to have full use of your hands. And then the next thing we want to share with you is probably from the opportunity side. This is a double-barrel blessing, we say, right? That it's the technology, and then it's also this wonderful wealth opportunity. But Ralph and I own an old real estate company that's been in my family for 93 years. My grandfather started it in 1932. I'm third generation. Honor and Nicole, whom you may have met on one of Joe's Zoom calls recently, work at the company, and we're passionate about what we do. We love it. We do design build and
Property management,
renovations, and sales. So it's all real estate, but it's real estate. So in that, it's very stressful and very time consuming, taking our time. But
requires a lot of resources and overhead.
Yes.
And really, there's no time for any type of freedom.
So in the last couple of years, the Lord's been just stirring our hearts, all of us in the family, about making some changes and some just starting to dream a little bit. So we received a couple of prophetic words from our church. Somebody came up and shared with us, and we started trying to unpack that. And during that unpacking, it was like, Lord, what are you saying? What could you possibly have, what that you could possibly do that could change this? Which, of course, we know that He could do anything, but we couldn't figure it out. So we were really just searching and trying to dream. But our dreams were, we wanted to just get out of a daily pressure cooker. We wanted to see our grandchildren more. We wanted to just be with each other, go places, travel and what have you, and not be so ball and chain held back. We wanted to give wealth to our children and our grandchildren, but not just income, wealth, residual wealth. Didn't even know you could have that in this way. But in February of this year, we did receive a very clear, poignant prophetic word that really lined up with the second encounter that we'd had in Lifewave. And Tonya started telling me about the patches, and I had known about it before. And when she did, I could feel it and hear it, and just knew that this was it. This was what the Lord was showing us, and this is probably the only thing that could ever be. But I was ecstatic. And I know that this is it. It's the team that we're on. That was a little confirming, I will say.
Yeah,
but we are just so excited to be able to build this business in a new season with Lifewave, that we can pass on generationally wealth to our girls, our daughters, as well as just be able to give wealth to the grands. Take care of them. But if anybody out there is resonating with this, it's very hard to have an exit strategy for a traditional business. This is one. This is probably the one. Like the patch is the patch, this is the exit strategy. And we are very excited and blessed to be able to do it.
Fantastic. Holly, Ralph, that was one of the finest testimonials. I've been doing this for 2 years that I've ever heard. Your hearing is coming back.
Yes.
And you don't need your hearing aid anymore. That is just nothing short of miraculous. And Holly, with your benefits and the inflammation going out of your body, that's what my wife and I experienced too. So those confirmations are well received. You have absolutely blessed a lot of people tonight. So thank you again for sharing. We'll have you guys back on in the future to keep us updated. So Constantinos, have a good evening. Thanks so much. If you could hit your camera and microphone, that'd be great. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about. These are the testimonials. Some of them are very, very life-changing. And I believe a lot of people are praying for a financial breakthrough just as much as they're praying for a health breakthrough. So that's a good segue. I've got one more thing I want to share with you related to testimonials. This is it info. Dr. Tiffany alluded to it earlier. It's got a testimonial section, literally hundreds and hundreds broken down by body part. You know, I was up in the Cleveland area this past week, and I was asked to speak at a conference near the Cleveland Clinic. Colleen Crane's team was present, and I just so enjoyed being with her and that family up there. But some of the ladies in the room were asking about, who do you know with bone-on-bone knees? So I'll ask you, ladies and gentlemen, who do you know with bone-on-bone knees? Well, what's interesting is David Schmidt, the CEO, was asked recently, do the Lifewave patches help rebuild cartilage in damaged knees? Or do they simply provide pain relief instead of medicine? Listen to his answer. One of the things we're looking at in the lab that's very exciting is the use of photobiomodulation to rebuild lost cartilage. Are you serious? In traditional medicine, orthopedics, it was once thought impossible to regenerate cartilage once it has been lost. Guess what? David Schmidt has now disproven this with stem cell technology. What we have seen is that the application of certain Lifewave patches on the inside and outside of the knees is showing to regenerate lost cartilage. So, Jerry, if you're out there, I'm mentioning this for you. It was a pleasure meeting you up in Avon, Ohio this week. So, let's shift gears. Let's talk about that financial blessing that perhaps you've been praying for. This is a 20-year-old company. It's open in 82 countries. Maybe you know someone internationally who knows someone in a different country. Your business, your franchise opportunity could literally take off internationally. For the last 15 years or so, we were doing about $20 million in revenue. Then X39 came onto the market, and we popped over $300 million. That's a gigantic increase. Ladies and gentlemen, this year we're going to do over $1 billion in revenue. Thanks to X39, we would not do that kind of revenue if this product didn't work. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. So I want to share with you, I graduated from the Mendoza College of Business at Notre Dame, and I study business. I'm still in corporate America. This is the only opportunity in my mind that represents a blue ocean strategy. What do I mean by that? Look at the single hook in the blue ocean. X39 has no competition. There's only one way to get X39, and that's from the person who invited you to this Zoom. Look at the demand. Look at all the fish in the blue ocean. There's a lot of demand for this. Why? Because people have lost confidence in the NIH, the CDC, the FDA, all those different three-letter agencies. They've really done a lot of things over the last decade or so to lose credibility. So now's the time to take your health and your wealth into your own hands and come on board onto this blue ocean strategy. Compare that to a red ocean strategy. Those are all the other 5,999 home-based businesses. You're probably aware of them. Maybe you've been involved in them. The lotions, the skincare, the cosmetics, the shakes, the nutraceuticals, the vitamins, the CBD oil, the candles, you name it. There's a lot of home-based businesses out there. There's not a lot of demand for the product. Why? Because you can get them at Trader Joe's, Amazon, Costco, Whole Foods and the like. Look at, there's only 3 fish in the water. That's pretty funny. There's not a lot of demand for those products. Conversely, talk about X39. It's so rewarding to see 5 to 10 people come into the organization on my back office every single day. So we are the #1 business opportunity as compared to, as measured by businessforhome.org. We are the #1 ranked company out of 6,000 companies, and this is worldwide. This is not just in the U.S., this is worldwide. We continue to win the Bravo Award. We have grown over the last 5 years 3,000%. That is extraordinary. Again, you name me a company in corporate America or a franchise, a traditional franchise that is growing at 3,000%. It does not exist, I promise you that. So it truly is a double-barrel blessing. I know Dr. Tiffany has mentioned that. Maybe Holly mentioned it as well. This truly is the double-barrel blessing of our lifetime. The differences between your job and Lifewave, well, your job, your income depends on you showing up. We've enrolled quite a few massage therapists, and boy, if they get injured, if they injure their wrist, they're out of commission. They cannot work and their income stops. But your job uses your time in exchange for a paycheck. The company dictates when you work. Conversely, Lifewave, ethical capitalism, it's like a franchise. You build teams that can make money on their own when you're not there. It allows more time with family and passive residual income. You no longer work your life around your job, and it allows you to achieve your financial goals sooner rather than later. Ladies and gentlemen, Lifewave truly, truly represents freedom. So, compensation plan, this is one of the ways we get paid. This caps out at $25,000 per week. Yes, I did say per week. There are people earning that right now. All you have to do is be a herald to the message. It's a very simple business. It's not easy. You do have to open your mouth, but it is very simple. You're going to have a left side and a right side. Think about 4 families, 4 people whom you love, you'd like to be in business with. We're going to put 2 of those families on your left and 2 on your right. You quickly rank up to manager, and when that happens, the commissions start flowing in direct deposit every single week. Then you do it again, get 2 more people on your left, 2 more people on your right. Simultaneously, you're helping those 8 people get their 2 on their left and their 2 on their right so they can rank up to manager. Once that happens, you quickly rank up into the company director, senior director, executive director, presidential director, and on. God will take care of the finances. This has been a major, major windfall of financial blessing for the Fazio family. I cannot wait to retire from my full-time job because this opportunity is going to allow me to do that, God willing. There's another way we get paid. It's called matching bonus. So think about the franchise. Your first person that you bring on, you're going to get an override on that franchise. The next person that they bring on, you're going to get an override. And then it goes down 3 levels. You're going to continue to get overrides and matching bonuses on all of the patches that are purchased through every store that is tied to your Lifewave store. There is nothing else in the business world quite like this, I promise you. How do you get started? Again, get back with the person who invited you. You can come in if you're not really convinced yet, you just want to try the product, come in at the core level. You're going to get 3 sleeves of X39. A sleeve is a cardboard envelope. $99 per sleeve. You're going to pay $300 or so plus tax and shipping. But we are on to a big-time opportunity here. If you're kind of like me, let's go big or go home. Consider coming in at the premium level. You're going to get 20 to 22 sleeves of product. You're not going to have to take delivery on any more product like a monthly subscription for 90 days. And then if that's too much of an investment, $1,750. By the way, there is no other business opportunity that you can start. Number one, you put it on a credit card. Number 2, if I were to start let's say a landscaping company, that's $10,000, that's $20,000, that's $30,000 worth of equipment if you want to do it the right way. But if that's too big of an investment for you right now, consider coming in at the advanced level. It's only $535. You're going to get 6 sleeves of product. You're going to need that product in your inventory to share with people, to lend to people so that they don't have to wait for their product. You can simply give them a sleeve or two, and then when they get their product via FedEx, they return those sleeves back to you. The monthly subscription that you see at the bottom is actually the lifeblood of staying active, and it maximizes the revenue generating potential of this business opportunity. My wife and I are on a 2-sleeve subscription. Pamela gets a sleeve of X39, as do I. It's under $200 to do that. It comes to our door every single month, and that maximizes the revenue opportunity and keeps us active in Lifewave. So ladies and gentlemen, now's the time to make your move. If you're serious about dreaming again, this is absolutely the hope for your future. I know of no other business opportunity out there that's as strong, as rewarding, and as lucrative as Lifewave and X39. So get started. Don't delay. Don't condemn this. You know, you're gonna do your research. You're gonna hesitate. You're gonna procrastinate. But condemnation without investigation is the highest form of ignorance. And I'll be honest with you, I did that 2 years ago. I condemned this business model, but I got that nudge. I got that nudge, and I'm so glad I jumped in with both feet because, like I said, it's been the most rewarding business venture I have ever done in my 40 years of business and commerce. Plenty of opportunities to plug yourself in, to plug some of your prospects in. There's a Zoom meeting opportunity just like this, just about every day of the week, except for Sunday. There's 2 training opportunities. One is tomorrow night at 7:30, and then Saturday afternoons, there's always a very strong training session. We are on YouTube at thisisitteam.com. You can go to YouTube and subscribe to thisisitteam.com, and you'll see recordings of some of the presentations from the leadership within the Lifewave organization. Very well done. Again, tomorrow night, T3 Tuesday Tips and Teaching from my dear friend Colleen Crane up in Avon Lake, Ohio. And my personal sponsors, Kathy and Carl Firestone. They are elite senior presidential directors with Lifewave. Guys, if you want to learn this business, you might as well learn it from the best. So tune in tomorrow night. You can take a screenshot of that Zoom link in the lower left, and I'll be on that call tomorrow night as well. In addition, Thursday night, invite all your friends. Carl and Kathy will be presenting this same opportunity, similar to the way Dr. Tiffany and I just did tonight. That is the Zoom link towards the bottom. Again, take a screenshot of that. This is being recorded, by the way, and we will send out the recording via YouTube afterwards to some of the leaders that they can make sure it gets into your hands. So, Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. He's absolutely right. We all have residual bills. It would be nice to have passive residual income. So, again, what's important in your life? For me, it's spending time with family. It's secure. I want my wife to feel secure, right? Most wives want to feel secure. We want to travel. We want to go on vacations with a purpose to be obedient to the Great Commission. We want to keep our health up, and we also want to get rid of our debt. We are in the process of getting rid of our debt right now, and Lifewave is a means by which we're achieving that. So, again, thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Joe Fazio. It was an honor and a privilege to have Dr. Tiffany Flock on. She's actually my wife's doctor. She can do her service remotely. If anybody wanted to take a screenshot and communicate with Dr. Tiffany, she is a very skilled and successful doctor of naturopathy. Dr. Tiffany, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We're going to open it up for Q&A, and I just want to thank you for being such a wonderful partner tonight.
Recording stopped.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to allow you to unmute. I'm going to allow you to open up your camera. And if you wanted to come on and share a statement about the patch or ask Dr. Tiffany or myself a question, the mic is open. Please come on video and I'll check the... Holly and Ralph, thank you so much again for a beautiful, beautiful testimonial. That is a keeper, and we'll send that out tomorrow as well. So, anyone have a question or comment for either myself or Dr. Tiffany?
Joe, this is Sis Bush.
Hi, Sis Bush. How are you?
I'm good. So nice to see you on Saturday.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I've had so much healing going on in the last 2 years, but what I never mentioned was, and you brought it up tonight, my cartilage is growing in my knee. I was bone on bone. I would get injections every 3 months for 3 years. I got an X-ray recently, and it shows the cartilage is growing back.
Woohoo!
So, yeah. So I wanted to confirm that since you brought it up tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
It's neat when we hear real life that is actually happening, what David states in the laboratory.
Yeah, I had an X-ray done. I kind of, I told my husband, I said, my knee kind of hurts. I think I'll go get an X-ray. It really didn't hurt. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. But I wanted to get an X-ray to see what was going on. And he said, your knee looks fine. I said, well, do I have cartilage? He said, yeah. And I said, hallelujah. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you,
I don't want to
sis.
take any more of your time. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Hello, Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Danielle.
Hi, Danielle from Colorado
From
Springs.
Colorado Springs. I'm calling you just in time because I just want to let you know that, first of all, my question is, can someone who has a real bad cold help with X39? I mean, the throat is caught, the sinuses is a real mess. So his wife is talking to me tonight, and I said, oh, I have to wait till it gets better, but I didn't know whether it could or not. I feel it can, okay, but then I don't know how long it would take. And
we're going to let the doctor in the house answer that question, but I have a feeling she's going to talk about inflammation reduction.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah, so inflammation reduction is a big key. But the other one, remember at the beginning of the call, if you were on, I talked about glutathione. And research is showing, I'll just reread what I said earlier, or I'll re-say it. Research shows us that many people who struggle with chronic illness, such as chronic infections. Now, I don't know whether this is chronic or not, but if you think of any kind of infection, autoimmune disease, kidney problems, liver disease, have depleted glutathione levels. So increasing the glutathione levels that the X39 does by 30%, and David Schmidt tells us that himself, then it should help one either overcome any kind of issue like what you're talking about, or strengthen the immune system so that it creates kind of like a border around you to protect you from even getting sick eventually, as long as you've got that good glutathione increase. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. That's a good, And now, Joe, I wanted to tell you that not too long ago, I was told that I couldn't find why the pain was in my throat. And the ENT doctor went in with that endoscope, whatever they call that, and went in there, and he said, I can't find anything. So he brought me into, he said, oh, you need to get a CT scan. And so he says, we can see something in the back of your head and your neck, but we can't make out what it is. For clarity, he wanted me to go to MRI. So I got an MRI. And then after that, he just said, okay, well, because we still can't see what's going on, we need to take you to the cancer center. And I went like, oh, no. I said, wait a minute. Okay, well, they called me and make an appointment. And I said, no, I need to get a second opinion. So I went to my doctor, which is a chiropractor, a holistic chiropractor, and he said, where's the blood test? And I said, what blood test? So he goes, what? he got so angry because I didn't get a blood test to start with without doing all this. So we went and got a blood test, and the blood test showed the numbers are for a 30 or 40-year-old gentleman or woman, not in the 80s.
Wow.
And I do not have cancer, so I just thought I'd let you know.
Praise
I think
God.
it's all X39, period.
X39, woohoo! So your lab work came back favorable because you're wearing X39.
Oh, yeah, it's
That's
I don't let go at all.
Thank
Well,
you,
and
Lord.
kudos for you for getting a second opinion. And that
Yeah.
second opinion was a holistic minded doctor. That's key.
Yes, I went the right direction, yes.
Great. Thank
So,
you, Danielle. It's good to hear
You're
your
welcome.
voice on the phone tonight. Thank
Same
you.
here. You take good care. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. God bless you.
Good night.
This is Mike Peterson. I have a question.
Hey, Mike. How are you, sir?
Well, thank you. You and another caller talked about cartilage regrowth. Is that just with X39 or is that partnering with another patch?
Well, that's why I called it Lifewave Patches. Lifewave is the star of the show, but Mike, I can get with you separately and we can talk
Sure.
about the patch protocol that is approved by David Schmidt in addition to X39. Yeah,
Thank you.
That's a great question. All right, well, we are at the bottom of the hour. Tiffany, I didn't prep you on this, but if you wouldn't mind, let's give glory where it's due and thank our Almighty Creator for this opportunity and this technology, would you?
Yeah, absolutely. Lord Jesus, thank you so much for David Schmidt. Thank you for Lifewave. Thank you for Holly and Ralph and their amazing testimony and just being very vulnerable about their business and what they've been into and what God is showing them now. And so, Lord, I just thank you for everyone who came on this call tonight and listened, and those that are feeling pricked in their hearts, Lord, may they make a decision, and may they truly understand from what we've said tonight that we are sitting on a true blessing. God has given this invention to David to bless people. And we just thank you that the X39 and all of the things that David is just stirring from God, the God-given storehouses of heaven, and just wisdom, all of those things are helping our bodies heal themselves so that we are not reliant on big pharma and all the directions that the world would want us to go. And so we just thank you for just giving us wisdom this week and guiding us in all of the directions that we have to go. And we just thank you, Jesus, for I would just pray, Lord, I thank you for Erica Kirk, and I pray that you would be with her and her family as they're processing. And we just love you, Jesus, and we will be the light. We will be the light, and we're not backing down. In
Amen.
Jesus' name, amen.
I didn't know your husband was that talented to do that song that we played in the opener. That was fantastic. So
Thank you.
kudos to Nathaniel. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we do this every Monday night. Dr. Tiffany, thank you for being my co-host. We'll send the video out, and thank you again for joining us. Have a good night. We love you all. Holly and Ralph, thanks again. Have a good night. Bye-bye.